Over the last few days, myself and many other YouTubers have been in Austin, Texas. We were very kindly flown over there by MSI to go and visit AMD at their campus in Austin, Texas. And it was a very, very awesome trip. As I said, I wasn't paid to go, but MSI did pay for all the trip. And this is basically going to be a combination vlog / highlights of the trip. And I suggest you keep your eyes peeled because there's some familiar faces in this video, but sit back and enjoy.
So, at the end of the day, what AMD is at our heart, we're a bunch of engineers that are trying to make technology that will change the world. So our vision, sort of that, if you look at, the big pieces of that strategy, one is graphics, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, traditional things like gaming, but also artificial intelligence, virtual reality, machine learning, are new ways to use that technology to enhance our lives and really learn about a bunch of different things. Compute, so whether it's client systems or, we've got interesting things to talk about in the server space and in the cloud space. That's really important for us. And at the end of the day though, like I said, a processor or graphics ASIC, it's a paperweight unless you have an ecosystem. So we work with MSI, we work with our partners to really deliver that end solution.
So this is the stack at a glance with 4 products. So this is the stack at a glance with 4 products: the RX 580, 570, 560, and 550. All of the latest and greatest hardware and software technologies embedded, optimized for fast and efficient DirectX 12 and Vulkan gaming with adaptive refresh rate technologies, and I'm going to mention a couple of software features later on. So this is its performance. If you look at those 2 older competitors or predecessors, you can look at they sometimes, or most of the time, they can't hit even 60 FPS, whereas the 570 will always excel and go way beyond that 60 FPS line.
For AM4 motherboards, we do have 18 plus model coming in this year, and we will be implementing slowly while we're releasing them as time goes on. We have 3 segments, 3 gaming segments and 1 Pro series. So the first one will be enthusiast gaming, performance gaming, arsenal gaming, and Pro series. As you know, the X-Powered X370, X-Powered Gaming Titanium, that's our high-end enthusiast model. It has all the features and definitely one of the boards that can overclock and break records. For the next segment is the performance gaming. This one is pretty much, if you heard of the X Gaming Pro Carbon, right now it's the only motherboard that I think we have that's fully RGB lighting. And also Dare to be Different, which is the Crate Gaming motherboards, is definitely a unique style and hydro painted, I think, motherboard. And the next segment is the Arsenal Gaming, which is more entry-level gaming. We took the theme of like military styles, so if you look at all the boards, the 350 Tomahawk, I think that's the one that you guys will be getting with the Ryzen 5 processor. So with this motherboard style, it's more of a military theme, entry level, but you still get a lot of rich features on there that will be good for gaming. And definitely it will be for your budget build that's under $1,000. Next segment is the Pro series. We probably won't get too much in depth with this because it's more for mainstream and for business use. So let's start with the AM4 features. The first one is the Mystic Light on board, especially with the X370 Gaming Pro Carbon. We implemented the Mystic Light on the motherboards. so you can do settings on it. And also, if you don't want the RGB lighting, you can also switch it off. The next cool thing we have is I think some of the enthusiast motherboards and performance motherboard. I think all the enthusiast motherboards and some of the performance motherboards should have the header, the 12-volt RGB strips that you can put on to the header. It's located in the bottom of the motherboards, where all the headers are. And next is a new feature called AM4A-XMP. So this is in BIOS where you can use one click of a button to help increase performance and stability. So I think it's only compatible with XMP memory at the moment. And as you know, the M.2 shield, if you see some of our motherboards do have the new M.2 shield. This is definitely new and no other competitor have this M.2 shield, so you probably see it more often maybe later on when other competitors try to copy this style, or it looks cool too, and it helps reduce heating and increase performance for the M.2.
So first and foremost, you guys have probably seen this before, but people ask me all the time, what's the biggest change in Zen, the architecture behind Ryzen? And the biggest change is that for every 1 hertz of clock speed, we can do 50% more work than our last generations. In terms of performance, obviously they're on sale worldwide at those price points, and I believe these are Cinebench numbers. So just looking at the multi-threaded performance, workload's getting more multi-threaded all the time. Vulkan, DirectX 12, even DirectX 11 games are becoming increasingly multi-threaded, 6-7 cores. Not a big deal. Now, Ryzen 5 is what we just launched, and I'm personally most excited about that one. I think the 1600 and 1600X are monster processors, 6 cores, 12 threads, 65 watts or 95 watts, at prices that are basically half or a third of what our competition would charge for the similar level of capability. And that money you save can be invested back into a graphics card, or a better motherboard, or more RAM, or a better monitor, or any number of things that it requires to build a high-performance PC. And we really wanted to reshape the market with Ryzen, so it's not just about offering the same thing as the other guy at the same prices. Value is important, of course. Everybody wants to feel like they got a good amount of performance for their money, regardless of how much they spend. Nobody wants to feel cheated. Kind of a matrix of what we support. Overclocking is enabled on X300, B350, and X370. X370 is our highest end chipset designed for dual GPU. You'll find those motherboards typically have the most number of power phases, good for overclocking, the most number of BIOS options, good for overclocking. And then B350 is more mainstream, somewhere between $75 to $125 US. Those are designed for one GPU. So if you only want one GPU in your system, the B350 is an excellent choice for you. You can save money, and again, put that into a graphics card or a monitor or something, and that will give you a better performing system overall, and you're not going to miss out on much in the overclocking or feature department. A lot of the B350 motherboards we're seeing today are extremely robust. To put a kind of a fine point on that, here are the performance results before and after the application patches that I talked about. You can always see the pre-update in gray and then the post-update in orange. And so these are major performance uplifts.
1600X?
Yeah, 1600X. Also, these are similar results for the 1800X as well, although the numbers are a little higher. So this is an across-the-board advantage for Ryzen that we've been able to pick up by working with gamers. In terms of platform development, Ryzen is an all-new platform, new motherboards, new chipsets, new CPU, new architecture, new everything. And with that comes growing pains. Now, we, I think, have moved very quickly into a position where we feel very great about what the Ryzen ecosystem can do. When we launched Ryzen, DDR4 2400 was the standard. It was a stretch goal to get DDR4 2667 working, and now it's more or less effortless to get DDR4 3200 working. just by pressing the button in the BIOS. And that is from the work of our BIOS engineers and the great partnership with motherboard vendors like MSI. They have done excellent work in their firmware for the motherboards to get this high-speed RAM running. HPET is a timer in Windows 10. It's sort of a timer that keeps different parts of the system synchronized, and it's extremely frequent timer. And the frequency of that timing or of the measurement can actually reduce gaming performance. So we engineered some platform fixes that allow users to disable HPET and use an alternative timer called TSC. And long story short, more gaming performance. And then this is a big one. That is how it uses the CPU, how it uses the GPU is not quite right for Ryzen. By default, Windows 10 comes out of the box with a plan called Balanced. And the Balanced power plan is somewhat conservative about how quickly it increases clock speeds of your CPU. And it's also very aggressive in how quickly it puts CPU cores into an idle state called park. So that's called core parking. And there is a time delay, a performance penalty for taking a CPU out of the parked state. And so this Ryzen Balanced power plan is now available in our chipset drivers. Anybody can go download the AMD chipset drivers. This plan will automatically be installed and configured. And it makes Ryzen more aggressive about increasing clock speed when you're in a game. And it disables that core parking, which can dramatically improve the performance of 1080p gaming, especially. So these three things together can produce performance jumps of up to 25%.
Another thing, you mentioned about working with the developers earlier, and obviously you announced a partnership with Bethesda. And I was just wondering if you could elaborate at all about that relationship. Like, are you aiming to improve performance just on CPUs, or is that going to be a more graphics cards related thing? Just anything else you could elaborate on that deal?
Actually, what a game development partnership really allows you to do is access. That's the key. Having the ability to get your game developers, which AMD has on staff, in the same building as their game developers, getting them to talk to one another. And that's actually beneficial in two ways. It's beneficial for us because we learn a little bit more every time about how game developers are designing their applications, what exactly they're trying to do with the code. And in reverse, gives us the power to say, don't do it like that, try this, and you'll get more performance. And those are tricks that they might not always know about. You can't expect a developer to know every architecture permutation in every CPU graphics card. So that access is true for both CPU and GPU.
Right.
It allows us to optimize an engine and a game for both graphics and processor.
So we just went out for some food with AMD and MSI, and This was here earlier when I checked in, but we didn't really have a lot of time. But they have left us this rather lovely wooden laser cut box. I mean, as you can see, it's got this lovely custom Dragon Squad best secret of Ryzen thing on it. Let me sort of just show you some of the details there. It's pretty awesome. If I just get the thing open, I'll show you inside. They have some rather nice goodies for us inside here. Obviously the first thing that your eye is drawn to, which I cannot seem to get out of the thing, is Ryzen 5. Unsurprisingly, that is probably going to be the theme of this particular press trip, so that's pretty sweet. And we have a little MSI Dragon figurine, which is kind of nifty. And then we have this beauty, Tomahawk AMD B350, which is pretty damn sweet. Now I won't do a full show off of the board now, obviously. It's very late and I've been up almost about 20 hours at this point, so my bed is calling. But I just wanted to show you rather, sorry, mush brain, the look of the board at least before I call the video. So, as you can see, it is pretty nice. I would imagine we're going to be doing proper coverage of this board, but I just wanted to show you what was inside this rather lovely wooden box here. I have no idea how I'm going to get this back home to the UK. That should be interesting. So overall, what did I think of the event? Well, to be honest, I really liked it. Not only did I really like what I saw of Austin, I hoped to see a bit more, but you know, obviously we were there for MSI and AMD, but what I did see of Austin I really liked, and all the Texan people that I spoke to, which was a fair few, all seemed really friendly and welcoming, and I definitely want to go back to Austin, you know, just as like a, you know, on a holiday or something at some point, because what I saw of it really made me want to see more, and I feel like there's a lot of food that I didn't try either, because we were only there for a few days. So I did try brisket though, I did get the chance to do that thanks to AMD. So all I really have to say is a huge thank you to MSI and AMD for this trip. Obviously MSI for taking us down there and paying for everything, and AMD of course for inviting MSI down. They are the first partner to get a campus tour, so it was very special for me to be a part of that. And of course we learned a whole bunch about Ryzen 5, and obviously there was the overclocking tips from Robert Hallock. That will probably be a separate video, either myself or Paul will do that. I'm not promising we're 100% going to do something on that, but I would think that that would be something you guys are interested in, on your how to deal with the RAM issues via BIOS and so on, which was definitely very helpful. But even with all that said, you know, basically what we learned is, I say learn, we kind of already know this, what was already solidified I suppose you could say, is that MSI is a really solid choice when it comes to, you know, your mid to high range builds, and when it comes to BIOS, which obviously has proven to be very important, especially when it comes to Ryzen. I mean, it's always important, but it has been sort of make or break for a lot of motherboards of Ryzen builds. MSI have definitely put a whole lot of work into that, and as you kind of see playing in the background, a whole bunch of customizability available that Robert Hallock is kind of showing off there. And as I said, I'm hopefully going to find the time to do something on that, because I feel like he had some really interesting things to share there. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of overview of the trip. I may do a sort of B-roll silly version of this where it's more focused on like the people rather than the sort of AMD/AMSI corporate stuff, but regardless, thank you very much for watching. As always, your support is highly appreciated. Big shout out to all the YouTubers there who are all very friendly, but especially to Wendell, Lionheart X10, Luten, and Tech Team GB, as well as of course Joshino. They were pretty much my my Dragon Squad for the weekend, and yeah, we got on like a house on fire, so that was a very enjoyable time with them. But everyone there was really friendly, so I can't complain there. And hopefully I'll catch those guys at events in the future, because yeah, it was fun. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and forgive me for my rambling. I am very tired. I only got home from Texas today, and I haven't really slept in about well, 20 hours again because of time difference. So yeah, I'm a bit tired, but you know, I'm trucking along. Anyway, thank you very much for watching again, guys. I'll see you next time.